Keystone Film Review, we just saw Monkey Man. Directed by Dev Patel, written by Dev Patel, Paul Angunuela, I practiced it and messed it up. Probably still mess it up. John Colley, starring Dev Patel, and Sharlto Copley, Pito Bosch, Vipin Sharma, Shikander Kher, and many others that I'm going to butcher their names, so I best just stop now out of respect for their names. This is Dev Patel's directorial debut, I believe. I could be wrong about that.
Pretty sure it is.
And he wanted to bring back the action movie. Not that it really went anywhere.
He wanted to kick some ass.
He did want to kick some ass. But yeah, this was, I think, both of ours, one of our most anticipated movies of the year. And where did it stand up to our expectations? Glenn!
Where did it kick us in the throat?
Yes. You go first.
Yes. So, I mean, from any of the trailers that anybody sees, anybody's pretty, it will be kind of hyped for this movie, considering it looks like kind of another John Wick type, like, I'm gonna beat your fucking ass type movie. And a lot of people came up to me asking such, and that's kind of what I told them. I was like, yeah, I mean, if you like John Wick, you're probably going to enjoy this a lot. But Dev Patel. And yeah, it brought that shit home. It brought that. We watched an interview with him.
From Letterboxd. Where he was talking about the movies that inspired him to make this film. He named pretty much all of Korean revenge cinema, like Old Boy and
mostly Bruce Lee's in the beginning.
I'm surprised you didn't mention Jackie Chan, because like in the middle of it, there was a lot of that like fighting with whatever you could.
I mean, to be fair, that was a 6-minute interview. There was probably a longer version of it.
Yeah, that's true.
So he probably mentioned it, but he mentioned the raids and everything like that.
Yeah. And also, he might have not mentioned Jackie Chan because it's not so much on the comedic side.
Yeah.
As Jackie Chan normally does.
Yeah, this had some comedic moments, but it definitely didn't go Jackie Chan style at all. But yeah, there was an interview, like, him being inspired by all those things, and you could see a lot of that in this movie, and it was really cool to see that. Especially there's like moments like you said where he mentions Old Boy in there. Like there was a moment where they pop up in a brothel, and for like a second it feels like that hallway scene. Like when he walks up with the axe, it kind of feels like that introduction to that hallway scene, but in a brothel. Also, when the elevators open in that one scene. So there's definitely influences all over the place, and it's really cool to see. I wasn't really like scared of what he like might not be able to bring. I had a lot of faith that he would kind of bring this shit down, and honestly, he did. Yeah, he brought it down big time. I didn't really have any flaws with it. Yeah, as far as it goes. I mean, there is a minor one, but we'll get into that in a little bit later. Yeah. But yeah, I talked a lot. Go ahead. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. We were telling one of our friends who works at the theater on the way out. I said it was one of the most satisfying movies I've ever seen. Yeah. And it truly is. It's you know, it sets up the revenge plot, and without giving too much away, it just is very satisfying without being too much of a happy ending situation. And you know, the choreography throughout is fantastic. If I had one nitpick about the fight scenes, is that I wish they used a slightly wider lens so you could see more what was happening, because it's handheld, which I'm fine with. That is my qualm that I had with it. But a lot of it is up close, which is fine. But because of that, you lose a lot of the action. It does make it more energetic, which is probably what they were going for. But I would have personally liked to see a little wider shot, you know, maybe like 15 millimeters wider or something, so you could see more of what was going on. I know he knows this, but I know in that interview, like he stated that there was kind of some falling throughs with like somebody that he did want. Yeah, they shot it during I think in 2021 is when they shot it. So you know there was still like restrictions in the I mean there still is on sets and everything, but more so than like people couldn't even fly to work on the film because of COVID. So they hit their not opponents. What's the word? Obstacles. Why did I think of opponents? He did hit their opponents. Hit opponent. Yeah, and you continue. I was kind of stealing that. No, you're good. So like they kind of ran into a little roadblock on that, but they ended up getting a stunt guy because he's so used to that choreography that he was already kind of recording their practices and everything. He got one of their stunt guys to want to be one of the camera people. I don't know if he became the director of photography. I'm pretty sure he just became one of the camera people.
From what I gathered from the interview, he was just the camera operator, at least for the fight scenes. I don't know if he was for the rest of it.
Now, entering the qualm that he was talking about, that it felt like in the interview he states that, you know, he was in some tight spots, so, you know, he kind of was up in the nitty-gritty, but he was able to follow through with the nitty-gritty, most likely. But like, if it would just take like a step back, just a little, like you were saying, maybe a wider lens, you could follow a lot more of that choreography.
It doesn't even have to be that much wider.
No, but like everything felt so close, and like you get the gist of it, but like a lot of it kind of gets blurred and kind of lost in the translation of what's going on. It's just so close and kind of claustrophobic. In a way, it kind of works because like it's mostly the first half of the movie, which is like where he's kind of clouded in this whole like.
And that could have been a creative choice too. It doesn't translate that way, in my opinion, but it could have been.
In a way, it works, but you know, for an average person, you're like, I can't. What the fuck is going on? He got punched, I think. But it is kind of claustrophobic and just kind of a lot of shit's blurry and just like you again, you get the gist of it. But other than that, that's kind of the only qualm I had with it.
They do make up for what you don't see with sound effects that kind of make you gather what happened.
Yeah. Picking up bottles, knife sounds.
Exactly. And it's also possible that they tried a wider lens, but wider lenses distort you know, the image a little bit, so it could have been too close that it distorted the image too much, so they just kind of decided, you know, and they were backed up as far as they could. I don't know what the behind the scenes are with that, but it is just something I noticed. But other than that, and you know, I'm an old man now, so all the sounds kind of make it hard to hear dialogue in a lot of movies. That is, you know, elevated more so.
And I'm bad with accents.
Yeah.
So
well, that's what I was gonna say. It's elevated more so with an accent, which, you know, I'm not unfamiliar with, but it's still just like, you know, when there's loud music happening and fight sounds and stuff, it's kind of hard to hear exactly what they're saying. And they're speaking in English, so there's no subtitles. I just wish all movies had subtitles when you go to the movies, not only for like the deaf community, but also just because I like being able to read quickly what they said.
Yeah.
I watch all movies at home with subtitles, so I kind of wish they just did that. But it is just, you know, that's another nitpick I had, but it wasn't like enough to the point where I couldn't figure out what was going on. It was just like, it sounded like a badass line, but I couldn't hear exactly what it said.
There's one particular part where like the guy would say something and I'd be like, I don't know what he said.
Yeah.
And then like a minute later, while they were kind of still in the scene, I'm like, oh, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There were a few moments like that where
there's like, they said the line and nothing happened. It was just silence, and it made me ponder what the fuck he just said. And I'm like, oh, he said that thing.
Yeah. And that's just like, again, the it's not, you know, anyone's fault except for whoever decided that movies shouldn't have subtitles in theaters. Even in like English language movies, like this one is for the most part. And it's just, it distracted me a little bit, but not enough for me to not have a great fucking time watching this movie. One thing I did not expect from this movie is that this is a trans ally film, which was pretty cool to see. You know, something I wasn't expecting from this at all. You know, obviously it wasn't really advertised. Not that it needs to be advertised. No. It's just, you know, in today's political climate, you would expect that a company would just be like, look what we're doing. We're catering to you. Or they just purposefully hit it to not deter the Midwest audience. We'll see. We'll see how they react. Yeah. But it honestly was so nice to see, you know, see them represented that way, and
be without spoiling anything, kick ass.
Yeah, kick ass. They kicked ass.
Kick ass people. Man.
But yeah, it's just a great film. Dev Patel nailed it on his first. I'm assuming his first film. I should probably check that out before I keep saying it. He's done 2 short films, but this is his first feature, which I expected. Most people do short films before they do features. But yeah, I don't really have too much else to say. You know, the problems I have with it are not that big of an issue.
It ain't that deep.
Just really met my expectations, if not exceeded them. I don't know if it exceeded them, but it definitely met my expectations.
I was gonna say my expectations weren't like crazy. Like I wasn't expecting anything to blow my pants off. But I found myself pantsless. Look at that.
In my car. Come on.
In your car. Yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. Like I expected to when I went to go see it. Look at
that. Should we get into ratings?
Do it.
Do it. Woo! I am between a 4 and a 4.5. I'm still riding the high, so right now I'm going to say 4.5. That may go down. It may go up. Who knows? Probably not, but we'll see. Right now I'm at a 4.5.
I think my mind, once it settles the brain, is definitely picking a 4. Solid goddamn movie, man.
Solid. It would have been a 4 if they didn't put Bloodywood in there. For those of you who don't know, the Indian metal band Bloodywood, when I first saw the trailer, I was like, they better goddamn put some fucking Bloodywood in there. And they did.
And it rocked.
It rocked. It was the best scene in the movie. But yeah, so yeah, 4. You said 4?
A little 4.
A little 4? Slightly bigger 4.5. But yes, those are our thoughts on Monkey Man. If you saw Monkey Man, tell us what you thought down in the comments. What is your favorite Dev Patel movie, and why is he so good at being sad?
And handsome.
Who hurt him?
Handsomely sad.
Handsomely sad. Lion. The English version of I Lost My Body. Others that I can't think of because I'm blanking. He's sad in this, too. Slumdog. Yeah. Goodbye, everybody.